Thank you very much, everybody. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Kia ora, everybody. It's a pleasure to have you all here. It's early in the morning, I know. We started at 8 a.m. Usually we start at 9, but we've got a packed day. We've got speakers joining us from Europe, speakers joining us from Australia, from Seattle as well with the keynote. So yeah, we just need to make sure that we cater for everybody's time zones. So it's been quite an exciting week or a couple of weeks. I don't know if you guys have been watching the changes, but yeah, there's been quite a lot that has been announced recently. We've got some people joining us. We're streaming that across 3 cities right now. So we've got the Auckland stream, we've got the Wellington stream, and the Christchurch stream. And then this is the online stream that eventually will turn for the online speakers. So we've got Rich joining us from Christchurch. How's it going, Rich?
Hey, Rami. Hello from Christchurch. It feels like a telethon. It's raining today, and we've got not many people in the room yet, but more coming later for the 9:30 start.
Yes, I think same here. It's it's filling up actually in Wellington, but yeah, it's looking quite good. Do we have anybody joining us from Auckland? I don't know if Kasun is online, or we've got Hamish, Jiva or Ragavan. Probably still joining. Okay. We will carry on. Anything you want to say, Rich, before we get started?
Oh, no, just basically make the most of your time with the speakers. I would say today they're all there for the community. It's a community event. Just ask questions, and if you know something, answer a question if someone else doesn't know. It's just get involved and just share knowledge.
Excellent. Thanks. Thank you very much, Richard. We'll come back at some stage. I'm wondering if we do a closing session at the very end of the conference, but yeah, we'll talk to you later. I can see Julie is joining us from Seattle, so we'll get to you, Julie, in half an hour. Just give us a bit of time to prepare the local keynote. Awesome. There's been quite a lot of announcements coming out of Ignite. So there was obviously Copilot dominating the content, some really exciting stuff that was happening in that space. We will be talking about Copilot today in some of the segments. It's a great effort to actually get all the speakers together and provide them with a platform that is New Zealand specific, where people can come in and then go and share some of their knowledge. And the good thing is that our content is not necessarily dominated by Copilot. There may be a session or two around Copilot, but we're going to cover a range of capabilities from the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 to please everybody. I'm going to read a quote from Ignite. So Scott Guthrie said, Microsoft Power Platform is the most widely used low-code development tool in the world. So he talked about that right after he was talking about the pro-code GitHub, but he wanted to emphasize how important the low-code platform is for everybody. And then right after that, he introduced Charles Lamana, and Charles Lamana said it's the world's most adopted low-code offering. So those are the masterminds behind our platform, behind the Azure infrastructure, the Azure capabilities, and the pro-code development. And they truly believe in the platform, and they've made them the best in the world. Now, with that success comes a lot of demand. With that demand, then comes a lot of requests for professionals to go and deliver services in that space. And we've got a big shortage of professionals that can actually deliver those services. And this is where you guys come in. So those sessions are here just to get you guys to know more about the platform, to upskill, to share, to network with the rest of the people that are like-minded, and just to see what is the art of possible in all the capabilities that we're doing. Right after Ignite, there was a big storm that came around with Sam Altman being ousted from OpenAI, and then Satya Nadella, as some of them described him, the Michael Jordan of tech CEOs, went and then rocked the boat and then hired Altman back at Microsoft and then let him go back to OpenAI. So it was quite a roller coaster ride for everybody, be it the people in the business, be it the people at Microsoft, be it the other tech companies. Salesforce jumped in and said, "Hey, why don't we get some of that capability?" So everybody was fighting over them, and it's really interesting to see that one person, Sam Altman, joining Microsoft, got the shares to the highest ever that Microsoft had seen, and then increased the company value by $90 billion. And it's great to see that this is Microsoft, and this is, in a way, our bread and butter. So it's great to see that association in there, and it's great to see that we are in that business, and that the AI capabilities have such an importance that one person moving around would change the entire industry up or down. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the way things are going. So anyway, we've got a packed set of sessions today. We've got a lot to cover. Nick Dolman is actually joining us right now from Norway. So Nick, you'll be starting at 9:30, so just in under an hour. He'll be doing a Power Pages bit in a second. Before we start with our Microsoft keynote speakers, I would just like to thank the sponsors that made that event possible. So we've got DXC, the company that I work for, that help us with some sponsorship. We've got Expert Logics, which is Brian on the screen in there, and then he's going to talk to us in just a second, and then share some of the thoughts about Expert Logics. And we've also got Fusion 5 that helped in the Auckland stream as well. So thank you very much for the sponsors. I've got Michael Kokoldi and Casey Taylor who want to say a couple of words. So if you guys want to come over here, and then just welcome the audience.
Tēnā koutou, ko Michael Kokoldi. I just hope you guys have a really, really good day. I know a lot of work's gone into presenting it, getting it ready and organised by a lot of people. So my thanks to the presenters for everything that you're going to show everybody today, and my thanks to the organisers, and thanks to Microsoft too for hosting. Ka pai. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Michael. Short and sweet. So that will give Brian a little bit more time to cover some of his demo. I think he had something that he wanted to share. Brian, can you hear us?
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm Brian Ambrosius, just Brian. I am from Perth, Western Australia. So I'm over here in Auckland to tell a little bit about what ISV. Just here in the room, I can't see that many of the other locations. How many know what ISV is and what we stand for? Just a hands up very quickly. A lot of good, but Microsoft do like, and we do like in software as well, to use acronym of 3 letters. So we are, what is a ISV, and it's an independent software vendor. And today is about why we are in business and how we can help partners, Microsoft, and you as a customer as well. So another thing is actually many don't know that 55% of all digital transformation have an ISV solution in it. Everyone thinks it's just Microsoft, let's take that word, or something else. But ISV world is all the digital transformation have 55% have an ISV solution in there. Another stat as well is 74% of all businesses that don't do a digital transformation will see some shortcuts as well. So they'll shut downs. And where ISV going in is that we're helping to get your digitalization quicker, more industry specific. So that in mind, I'll just give you some credentials. You know, I'm Brian, but I'm actually from Denmark original. And I have been in the Dynamics space before it was Dynamics. So I have actually worked as a consultant since it was Navigator. So I think my first one was 2.01. I've used PC Plus, but not as a consultant. The last implementation I did, and thanks God for that, was 5.00, which was not the best solution out there. I was one of the first one in the world that did the implementation. So I went over, that actually tipped me over to more sales and BDM kind of work in this area here. I'm happily married. As I said, I am a badminton coach. I should start that again. I have a passion for traveling. So this is a little bit about me. One of the things I wanted after this session here, I only have 10 minutes and I have an hour to talk about this, but I don't have that. But 10 minutes we are a core part of the Microsoft strategy. Microsoft built the platform, and we enhance that one. We add on to a Microsoft solution. It can be in industry, so manufacturing, that you have a manufacturing kind of industry solution, or more vertical. It can be payment management or bank reconciliation. That's more kind of horizontal than vertical. But I'll take Explodic because, you know, we're one of the sponsors. I want to take Explodic as one of the case stories. So just kind of know why we are in business, because I kind of think that it was a good kind of point why we are in business, is that we do have 3 products in our portfolio. So we have the CPQ. Most people know Explodic with our CPQ. And CPQ is configure, price, quote. And the second product we do have is our document automation. Some of you might know Expodoc. We acquired Expodoc 3 years ago. So it's all about the document automation. And then the last one we just bought here a year ago is now we're also able to do B2B e-commerce. We have the whole suite. So we try to make sales simple. Always. So the CPQ is all about, imagine that you need to buy a new computer online. That's the same experience with CPQ. You can get inside your F&O, CE, or BC. It is a guidance selling. It is a structured selling. We do rules and we do conditions. So if you take this product, I can't take this one here. There might be an upsell opportunity as well. So it's a guiding selling, and that's how it looks. It can look like in a solution. Document automation is again a value added to. Yes, Microsoft do have an out-of-the-box template engine inside your CE and F&O. They do, but we add some extra functionality. So we think we make it better because we know that out of the box you can't do multi-entities. We can. You can't do enriched documents, so nice-looking documents that kind of fit into when the table is not the same size all the time. We can do that. We can go to other systems as well, get data from SharePoint, put that into as an invoice. All those kind of things we can do. So it added value to the Microsoft stack. Last one is the digital commerce. It's a new one. This is integrated B2B thing. A lot of companies struggle to sell online, especially in B2B. B2C, we do that as well. But hey, you have Shopify, you have a lot of other kind of things. But where we are strong in B2B, because we know unified pricing, customer pricing, special pricing, rebate, what is my stock levels, all those information on your website will be linked to your BC, your F&O, or your CE. So you're getting that information out to the customer. So a sales service portal. But that was really correctly kind of what we are doing. So you can see here we have some credentials. We are been since 2002 in business. We have over 2,000 customers in total, many million of users. So we here. But I will just kind of talk about some misconceptions around what NISV do, because both partners do say, well, we don't need you, or customers say, why should we take it as one? But one of them is actually, it's just a customization NISV. No, we're not. We are actually enhancing it's a standard solution. That's like Microsoft. They just provide the platform. We provide with an enhancement to that one. It's standard on top of your Microsoft Dynamics. So, and we often use best practices too as well if it's an industry. For example, manufacturing. We know manufacturing in and out. So our solution manufacturing in and out. One. It's actually an uncomplicated Dynamics 365. It shouldn't, to be honest. It shouldn't. It should complement your solution, right? I often see, yeah, but we can do some smart customization, then it doesn't cost much. I heard that many times, but not always the case. That one is actually managing multiple vendors is a hassle. That's more maybe the partners and the customers say, hey, why should we now use Microsoft told us we can just use Microsoft and then be all good. Why should we get Explodic in or another ISV? Because we know the solution end to end. We know your industry or that kind of specific area as an ISV. And Explodic, we sell 95% of all our customer is coming from a partner. We don't do much direct, and we kind of prefer not to do direct. we always like to have a partner with us. Upgrade will break the ISV solution. If that's true, we will not be an ISV co-sell. Microsoft will kick us out. We are obligated to work with all the current version, especially in the SaaS world. Microsoft changed the solution every 6 months. We have to be up our game and be ready as well, and we are. So not true. And if you are a partner, I know there's a few partners here as well. And one of the things is that we create good solution together with you as a partner. We make the solution sticky, and especially partner know what that means. It's a buzzword for the last 20 years. I think I've been in a business. So we try to help as a partner. We work together with a partner on Microsoft. So the benefit on ISV is that we do have streamlined integration. We have to. We are very tightly integrated. It should be cost effective. It should be cheaper than do it yourself. A lot less risk as well. We do bring the industry knowledge as well, which we have put into a solution or a vertical. Of course, we support and that kind of thing as well. So I only have 10 minutes. I will be here in Auckland, and I know for you guys at the other location, this is my email, this is my phone. Give me a buzz, give me an email, or connect with me on LinkedIn. Here in Auckland, I think I got a table. So if you'd like to see some of the solutions we do, or just have a chat, let me know. I think that was I tried to speed a little bit up down there, so we were a little bit late to start, but any questions or thing?
It's really good, Brian. Thank you very much. So the best way to contact you is just to send you an email?
Yeah, or LinkedIn, more than happy to do that as well.
Okay. And if they want to know more about the product, they can go to expertlogics.com, and then they can just have a look at some of the offerings over there.
Sure. So all the contact details should be on the screen now. So just whatever channel you choose, let me know, right? And for you guys in Auckland, come and say hi. I'm here the whole day.
And do you guys offer any trials or demos that people can sort of just jump into, maybe like a 30-day trial, so that
Sorry. Okay, so CPQ is a little bit hard to do a trial because it's a big system. It's like an ERP. We always go very deep in our demo together with you guys and try to figure out what it is and get started. The document automation, we can do trials, and that's much easier to do. But again, document automation is very easy to install. We normally just say around 14 hours, and you're trained and ready to go. So that's really easy. The digital commercial, because of the nature, you can't do a trial. We have to be there, but we're more than willing to do a lot of session with you guys just so you're getting a confidence in our solution. But the nature of our software is a little bit hard to trial.
Yeah.
UCs.
Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Thank you very much. Any other questions for Brian?
Not in Auckland. Do you want to?
Yeah, I don't want to be too specific, but on the web commerce side of things, do you have, it's kind of flexible in terms of look and feel?
Yeah, so we do have, of course, a out of the box. We can go live in 4 weeks from start to end on our standard solution, right? But the standard solution offer different layouts and that kind of thing. But the the structure is nearly the same. You can customize it, but then we can't do it in 4 weeks.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So we always go standard first and let you try it, and then that might be 1 or 2 tweaks we want to do because of the customer.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you very much, Brian. Round of applause. Okay. And now we'll move on to our keynote speakers. So I'm super excited to be presenting Divya Kamath and Julie Koesmarno, joining us all the way from Microsoft Corp in Seattle, in Redmond. I had a sneak peek of some of the capabilities that they're doing. So Divya and Julie are product managers that look after Dataverse and AI. And those are the 2 things that I use on a daily basis. This is literally my bread and butter. And I love the work that they do. You know, as an MVP, I do interact with both of them quite a lot. And then I very kindly asked them if they can be our keynote speakers, because their content is very relevant to the work that we do and the work that the community does. And they happily said yes. And then yesterday I had a quick sneak preview of what they're doing, and I got goosebumps. I felt very geeky, but it was amazing. You know, the journey. I'm setting the bar high, but yeah, it was really good to see that they put a lot of effort into making the demos personal, and then trying to relate it back to some of the New Zealand community. Julie specifically spent some time in Australia. So maybe what I'll do is get you guys to introduce yourself. So Divya, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. And then I'll hand it off to Julie. So I work very closely with Rami. Rami has been an extremely very key partner for Microsoft, especially in the areas of low-code plugins and formula columns. Have gotten a lot of feedbacks that has really shaped how we should be really shaping our product. So thank you, Rami. Your and your community, your voice, we really value a lot. So today's session, with Julie and I, we are hardcore into Dataverse platform, and we work very closely with our dev team. We also have a constant product group interaction almost on a monthly basis, where we interact with you, we come up with a proposal, we get a lot of feedback, and then we go shape our roadmap. And our key focus areas, at least for me, is on the customization of the platform. Julie is going to walk you through how to acquire data using Copilot and the natural language. And she handles mostly on the data acquisition part, and I handle mostly on the customization, whether it's a pro code using pro code plugins or the low code way of customizing your apps. With that, I hand it off to Julie to introduce.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Divya and Rami. Let me just share my screen, and then we'll get started with the keynote. So my name is Julie Koesmarno. Like Rami mentioned before, I actually grew up in Australia, but I moved to United States to work for Microsoft. And today, if some of you may already be aware of this, today is actually Thanksgiving public holiday here in the United States. So I want to begin this keynote by saying thank you to all of you, the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 community in New Zealand, for setting such great platform for a lot of other people to learn a lot about our products, learn how we can help our customers, and so we really appreciate that. And hopefully I say this properly. Kia ora, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I learned something new today. All right, so I specialize in a lot of the Copilot related work in the data ingestion side of things. So today we're going to walk through two things related to the Copilot AI-assisted data building in Dataverse. The first section, I'll go over the building tables and app faster with AI assistants, and then I'll hand it over to Divya to talk about how to infuse this intelligence in your data really well with AI. So with that, I'll just get started to talk about these two new exciting things that probably some of you have heard of, especially if you follow announcements related to or from Ignite. So we do have these kind of two ways of essentially getting you get started on creating tables. And if you want to, you can also build apps after that. And that the first way is actually described, we call it natural language. And the second way is the import with Copilot AI assisted. Some of you probably have tried this before. So with that, I'm just going to jump over to a demo right away. So let me just jump here. All right. I'll try to make this bigger. That way folks in the audience can see better. All right, so like I said, today's Thanksgiving public holiday, so I've been thinking about, hey, it's a holiday season, and I'm pretty sure we'll, wind down our work soon to celebrate the holiday with our families and friends. So I figured out, what if I want to, build an app, or maybe build a table only, to help me track holiday gifts. So here on this prompt here, what I'm going to do is I'll type in a holiday gift list. Now, I'd like to invite you to open your mind a little bit when working with Copilot. And let's see what it does here. Most of the time, it works really well. In some cases, and this is something that that a lot of you probably should know, with generative AI, it's not a deterministic outcome. So in some cases, when I actually run this holiday gift list, sometimes it gives me sweater, book, headphones, etc. Sometimes it gives me something else. So this is a way of creating a table with sample data, so that way you can easily build your app. So a lot of us, when we want to build an app, we want to create a table. Sometimes we need to acquire some data, right? But here, with the sample data, we can quickly test it. So it looks like it's pretty good. So it's got some, sample data, with the recipient name, the gift description and price, and then whether it's purchased or not. So that's great. So now I'm going to add maybe another column. For example, add shop name column. Let's see what it does. So this is how I interact with Copilot to help me create a new table. So over here, it says, hey, the shop name is enumerated. I'm not quite happy with it. So let's see if we can change the sample data set itself. So let's go update the shop name to about common retailers in New Zealand. And I'm going to say, don't just enumerate the values. Hopefully it works. We'll see. It's just putting the common retailers. So this is one of the reasons why I mentioned before, like in some cases it can get a bit naughty where it doesn't actually give me the actual retailers in New Zealand. So let me show you one that I actually built earlier. It actually gave me a proper shop name in New Zealand. So there it is. Let me try one more time. Update shop name data to common retailers in, let me try Australia. Maybe it might work. See how it goes. It doesn't quite do it, unfortunately. Oh, well. So this is because it's a sample data and it's fine. I think it's good enough for us to kind of go ahead, just leave it as is. What we can do also is to add another column, which is maybe add a column called delivery by date column. Let's see whether it does it well. Okay, so this is 2022. So if I'm not too happy with it, I could also change update delivery by date to 2023, because I wanted to make sure that it's for this year instead of last year. So there's a little bit of, this is something that is probably a little bit funky going on here, where because of the UTC, I guess, conversion thing, that it doesn't actually quite put it as a 2023 properly. So there's another way to fix it. Hopefully this actually does it well. By date to December 2023. Let's see. So when you work with Copilot, this is actually a common process that you work with. Sometimes you try out different kinds of prompts that actually work, and it's there to help you to assist it. And from the backend side, from the product team, we're actually continuously improving how Copilot responds to you. So what you might see today, it will probably be improved in the next couple of months. So as you try out the product, make sure that you as you see the announcements, try out and see whether it gets better. And if it's not good, so for example, with this shop name, which is not quite great, right? Make sure that you say, hey, I'm not quite happy with this, with the example here, and to say the values are not what I expected. And then click submit, because what we do is in the back end, we actually look at the session ID and see what's going on and see how we can continually improve it. So yeah, So this is a preview of the table. So the table is not yet created. And again, just to recap, I'm using natural language to describe what I wanted, which is the holiday gift, tracking system. And then now that I'm happy with the sample, I can actually add more sample data if I want to, by the way, just typing in like, add, 20 more rows of sample data. I think it has a limit of about 30-ish. And after that, it might not work quite well. And then once you're happy with the view, we can click Create App here. So the method that I showed you at the beginning was from the home page. It asks you what app do you want to create. So that's why it does. It creates the table, or it previews the table and the sample data. Then a data first table will be created and an app will be created on top of that. And there is another way. While this is kind of loading, let me just go to make.powerapps.com here. If you actually go to the tables page here, there is a way of creating just a table. So if you want to just create a table, you don't want to create an app yet, go to the tables and then just click on the describe the new table. And again, this is just a prompt that you can start typing, like holiday gift list, or maybe like surface order tracking, etc. So it looks like the app actually is being built right now. And there's more exciting thing that you can do with Copilot as you are building the app. But I won't go through that for today, but there it is. So even if I'm not as familiar with building an app, because I'm more of a data person, this is great for me because I can already start having an app built for me based on the data that the tables or the data that I specified using natural language. And this is fully functional. So if I save this and then play, I did, yeah, there's a few, there's a few, let's see, let's do this. I have tested a few times, so that's why it doesn't let me save or overwrite. Let's see whether this works. Oh, let me just go over this, the data part here. See how it says holiday gift list, and it is actually a table in Dataverse. It looks like it's saved. And yeah, by the way, don't forget to save. It is very important to save, because if you exit out and you didn't click save, then that app wouldn't be, wouldn't be stored in your environment. So now I have a fully functioning an app that I can actually use to kind of browse through the gifts. And I can also take a look, what if I'm going to show this on my, let's say, Samsung Galaxy here, what would that look like? And so it has a response, a great responsive design, so you don't have to worry about the kind of different kinds of forms of apps that you have to do. So that's the demo. Just to recap, so what I just showed you is how to create new tables and apps with Copilot. It's very easy to do. You can converse with it. You will get used to creating a prompt. So the ones that I mentioned to you, like, update this column or add this column. And as you are building the app, there's also Copilot to help you build the apps itself, to kind of support you with the modern controls and responsive layouts. And what we've heard from customers, we ask customers, by the way, but what did they think about this Describe or Copilot way of building tables and apps? And they say that, hey, it's really great for prototyping. We have pretty large customers here in the States, where they've mentioned to us that they actually managed to get an intern to help them build an app in a matter of hours. So it helped them to reduce development time from weeks to hours. It allows them some agility so that the developer or the makers can actually work with the business users and get that rapid iterative feedback. So as they are building the tables or the apps, it can, produce better outcomes. So it's less upfront knowledge required. So the other way, I think I mentioned to you about how to use Copilot, using description or using natural language. The other way is to actually use this Excel to table or app powered by Copilot. So importing from Excel to Dataverse gets really easy. Today we only support one table, so inserting just into one new table. And what we've heard from customers is that this is also great for getting started, especially if they're migrating from an existing Excel-based system and they want to kind of build, more powerful apps, more enterprise-ready apps, and they want to just quick prototype to see whether, Power Platform is actually going to work for them. And this is one of the ways that that they find has been super helpful for their prototyping. And here's a quick roadmap. So the ones that I mentioned previously, which is from the NL to table, it's available in US region today. So, but I think we are rolling out to a lot of the other regions very shortly. Whereas Excel to table actually already available in US region and a lot of the regions, but it requires this consent setting. So if you are based in like the Oceania area, so New Zealand, actually including Australia as well, I believe there are more Copilot capacity being rolled out. So you should be able to see more of that Copilot enabled hopefully fairly soon. And if it's not available, usually what we do, we have a fallback logic, which means from Excel to table, we just use heuristics-based determination of the table, the column data types. So you probably have seen Excel to table previously using the heuristics, if not using the Copilot, if you are not based in the US or Europe regions. All right, so with that, I'll hand it over to Divya.
Thank you. I will transition to my share. So please bear with me. Great. Can you see my screen?
Can see it.
Yes.
Great. So now that you learned from Julie about how easy it is to co-create that app layout, you can play with your data, you can start with the sample data, you can acquire the data very easily into Dataverse. And there is, by the way, Julie and our team is also working a lot more from the acquisition. From the time you get the data and you bring it into Dataverse, there's a lot of things that happens, transformation, mapping, and all of those cool things, which I think we will keep it for our next interesting announcements. But those are the things that we are working on. Now, assuming those are being done and you have acquired the data, you got into Dataverse, what do? Right? Your data is constantly changing. There is a pull and push happening from your external data, or some business users are updating your data, and your data changes rapidly. And that's when you start to think about, how do I make sure I write enough rules? How do I make sure that I write validation, that it meets my organizational needs? How do I perform calculations? Because I get this raw data in different columns, and now I want to do some cool calculation, like I have a price and a quantity. How can I arrive at a total price without having to write long lines of code? And our motto is enable the key. That is, our research says that around 80% to 85% of the population are not tech savvy. And how do we empower those people to start writing code? How do we give them the most simplest of the simplest way to start customizing? The more we give them such tools, the better the user is going to adopt this product. We're going to see much more usage, and you can do really powerful things. So that is our key goal. The first one is I'm going to talk about what we call business logic. So if you are part of Dynamics, you are very well aware of plugins concept. You're very well aware of business rules, sync workflows, custom process actions. So what we're doing as part of modernizing, we want to simplify and converge all of those different logic streams, and we call this as a business logic. Now, business logic can be defined using your pro code, or what we're introducing is low code. And the third dimension that we're introducing now is natural language. We want our users to express what they want in simple English or any localized language, and then that can produce a code snippet, and then you can write your logic as you go. The first demo, and this is a brand new preview that we announced is the logic where you can express on the column level, and that is called formula columns. Traditionally, we have the legacy way, which is your calculated columns and rollups. And that is built using Windows Workflow Foundation, which is in a very old stack. And we want to route the traffic towards this modern way. So formula column in Ignite, we announced general availability. And also we introduced a new way, a natural language to define formula columns. Our primary goal is enable big lines of code. So formula columns is fairly easier because it's restricted to a column. We want to test the waters. We want to get feedback from you all. And we also want to know how GPT is working when we express such requirements. So it's in preview. If you're not able to see in your environment, raise your hands, reach out to me or Rami, and so that Rami will let me know. We will enable you and you can start playing around. So the first demo I'm going to show you is a formula column expressing column level logic. And then the second and third part is how you graduate into more complex capabilities. Last build, that is build 2023, is where we announced experimental launch of low-code plugins. Very core capability where you can write server-side business rules, such as a server-side business rule would be, if the customer is VIP, then make sure the value X is populated. So you can write all of those rules using server-side business rules. Custom process actions is also like when an order is created, go send an email or escalate to my manager, those type of actions. Sync workflows kind of embedded with your custom process actions where you can create a workflow. And then we also have ProCode plugins and the custom API, and that is for the ProCode audience. But we eventually want to converge both the audience into this low-code authoring experience. So that is on the where you can express the logic at a table level. The third progression is great. I can now interact within my Dataverse tables and Dataverse modules or components per se. This progression with connectors, you will now be able to connect or talk to external data. In ProCode plugins today, you don't have that capability. And with connectors coming on board and with low-code plugins, you will now be able to talk to external data. And within connector ecosystem, we have three types of connectors. You have API connectors, such as I want to talk to a weather connector and have the weather of my city populated. Or I want to go find a travel distance based on the city I live. So you can come up with those logic and you can call the relevant connector. So that is the API connector, which is weather, Bing, all of those, which is non-tabular. And the second type of connector is custom connectors. Say you want to New York traffic, or you want to analyze crime rate in your city. You can go get those third-party data and you can build your own custom connector and you can integrate within your app. For example, tabular connectors is more enterprisey. I want to talk to Dynamics 365, Salesforce, and ServiceNow. Then you come up with this shaped data, and that is tabular, and that's coming up. So API and custom is what we have released in this Ignite, and tabular will be coming soon. And the fourth one, like if I don't talk about generative AI, then I'm completely outdated. So we saw how we can create data using generative AI. And this is about how can I enrich my data using generative AI. You can have, data gets dirty over time, or data gets complex over time, because your production data is all complex. You have customer verbatims coming on board. You have lots of notes, or you are at a job where, as a supervisor, your job is to go and audit your outgoing emails from your customer support on how do they respond. Then you can have a lot of these generative AI capability where it can generate content, compose email for you, and then you don't have to sit and compose. Rather, you go review it and send it across. There's a lot of ways in which you can
Divya, I think you're muted, accidentally muted, probably. Yeah. Just the last few
Oh, yeah.
seconds.
I don't know how it got muted. Okay, thank you. I don't know where I left. So the fourth one, generative AI, did I say that?
Yeah, you
Okay.
did cover some
I
of the
just said,
generative
okay,
AI.
so
Yeah.
got it. Okay. So these are the 4 different ways in which you can express your logic. And I'm going to show demo for each. The first one is formula columns. Say you have a price and quantity, and you want to derive a total price, or you have a rating column and you want to come up with categorize the rating in English description, for example, or you have a manufacturing column and you want to come up with the expiry date column, right? These are the real-time scenarios, and I have this pre-canned demo I can quickly share. So if you go to a formula column today, you create a new column, you select the data type called formula, just like formula columns. And here we have introduced this new arrow, chevron arrow, and you can express, say that I want price times quantity. And then you hit enter, it gave a suggestion, you copy that snippet, go to the regular formula expression, paste it, and then you save it. And then you come back. Total price, and it has calculated. The second scenario here is you want to categorize ratings. So I quickly write this formula. So here my expression is if the rating is equal or greater than 100, indicate as good, if less than 100, average, and if value is blank, then display as null. You may have to hit once or twice. Sometimes it is naughty. It does not give the valid expression. The third one is for I want to derive an expiry date based on manufacturing date. Yeah, the date column is not very eloquent, especially it does not give me the, like what Julie was also mentioning, the date is a little bit not great. If you see here, it does not give me a time component. It gives me a time component where in my actual input has no time component. So those are the things, rough edges, we are working with the model. So the way this works is when I type my natural language, from Dataverse side, we basically send the context of Dataverse column, Dataverse schema, so that, and the natural language expression. We pass it to the model. The model understands, say, manufacturing date, I need the expiry date. It understands the semantics and it says, oh, manufacturing date looks like the column manufacturing date. Let me go grab that. And then it passes on to the GPT model, and GPT gives the expression back to us. And before it gets back to us, formula columns runs with IntelliSense. So there's an IntelliSense layer, does some post-processing, because we don't want incorrect or incomplete expression, the red squiggly lines, then it defeats the purpose. So this IntelliSense does, again, post-processing. It makes sure the missing parentheses or inverted commas are all filled up. And only when when it becomes green or the red squiggly lines are all addressed, it then sends back to the UI. So a lot of things happen behind the scene in this micro milliseconds. And the end result that you get to see is the successful formula output. And for any reason, you're not able to, the model is not able to understand, then instead of giving incomplete expression, it will say, sorry, I didn't find the expression, or I couldn't find the suggestions for you. You will have to play around a bit, like how Julie was playing around, because this is still growing and all that. And you have the same like, unlike, like, dislike button. And if it is not giving the right results, do dislike it so that we can look into our telemetry and we can train the model to do much better as it learns from all of us. So that's about formula columns. And I'm going to now shift gears to something complex, just to give you an idea of how complicated or real-time app integration can be built with a centralized reusable piece of code in just few lines. It is true low code, And this is just the beginning, because here I still have to have the knowledge of PowerFX, a syntax, Excel-like syntax. And our vision is to make it even same like formula columns in natural language. So if I have to build this app, I can express all of these different logic in natural language, and it's going to create a low-code plugin, say, for example, suggest tech as one logic. So those are the cool things that we are working. It's part of our roadmap, and hopefully we get to share with you some real soon. So this example is where is to demonstrate a complex integration with external data, or with external data, or I'm going to use a lot of combination here to show you how this integration works. I wrote this diagram so that it's picturesquely you'll understand the different components that playing together. So here I have a Canvas app, and I'm a supervisor where I keep looking at the incoming orders coming from my website. And here, once the orders, so I'm a Contoso solar panel installation company. My websites is, say, Power Pages. I have a website in Power Page, and orders are flowing in. I have this Canvas app where my job is to go and suggest technicians based on the incoming order. So if our order is coming from New York, then I will go and find the technician from the same location with the same skill. So there's a skill and location matching algorithm going on. And technician is in SharePoint, because I'm a startup, and my technician is being managed by a tech team that is in SharePoint, and the service orders are flowing through, say, Power Pages, and they're landing inside Dataverse standard table. And then I use Outlook for all my communication. So I have Outlook on the other side. And what I do is I write two low-code plugin. One is suggest technician, which is an instant plugin, because I'm a supervisor. I'll be clicking the button manually to invoke the algorithm. So I define an instant plugin. And there is a notified tech where I don't need human, and I want it based on some event base to trigger, and that is my automated plugin. And the way this end-to-end works is, from the Canvas app, I go click, when the order comes, I click suggest technician, and it goes and invokes the SharePoint connector. It goes and talks to technician. It goes and fetches it. It takes the order ID and its order type, which is the skill, which is installation, or it's an annual maintenance. So based on that skill, I pass that input to the SharePoint. SharePoint has those relevant columns, and it gets this, and it sends the relevant technician back to the logic, and it updates the service order table. And my notified technician logic is, every time the service order is updated, go send notification, create a task, and send a notification to the customer. So it goes and it updates the order, and it sends an email, it invokes an Outlook connector, and then the notification goes out. Then future, my business grows, and then I start to think that I cannot scale. Therefore, let me have an automated RPA, or a Power Automate that runs every hour or every night, that goes and schedules technician. So what I simply do is I use the same logic, the suggest tech low-code plugin. I go and embed it as a Dataverse action inside my Power Automate. The reason why I'm touching on this is that I can scale really well. As I plan my architecture, as I grow my business, as I build my ecosystem, I don't have to keep defining logic again and again in different forms and shape. Today in Power Automate, you have to write a logic using a logic app. It's again decentralized logic. Now I can just go call that, so just technician logic in the form of Dataverse action, the Power Automate, and I can, without any code push, I can continue scaling my business. So that is the key, one of the key value prop of using a decentralized server-side logic that can be embedded across any clients in the platform. Now that I have shown this diagram, I want you to just capture it in your head, so that when I walk through the screens, you will understand how this entire workflow works. I pre-recorded this. So here, this is the service order, which is coming from Power Pages, and it is in the standard table. And I'll quickly show you what the table looks like. So I have order number, order date, first name, last name, order type. Order type is the skill. And yeah, these are the skills. And then SharePoint is where the service technician records are stored. And again, here the skill is mapped to services. So a different column altogether. And the assigned orders are 0 for now. And here is the logic. So you go to the Dataverse Accelerator app. So this is a model-driven app that has been auto-installed on every environment. And you would simply have to log into make.powerapps, go to the apps, run Dataverse Accelerator app. So this is where we want to launch any experimental features. And as it becomes mainstream, we will graduate it to, we productize it into the Maker portal. So for now, it's in the Accelerator app. So here I go express this logic where I say when the order is created, which is of a certain type. I also write a simple expression saying that, let me run this. Okay, so here is the logic. So if you go here, suggest technician. Yeah, so here is the logic with the input parameter tech ID, tech email. I then write that for the sales order type, I have this the filter of service technicians, a switch statement, which maps the order type to the service column. So it can, yeah, this order type to the service column. And that's the input. So once I did the mapping in the switch statement, then I also assigned order. I think I moved back. And I also want to assign to the technician who has got the least order so that they are not burdened. Once I define this logic, I can quickly do a test like your postman. So I take the order ID and I run this test. Great, my plugin is running successfully. So now I can go and copy that formula. So what it does is it generates a formula, a user-defined formula or a UDF, and then you can copy it in your Canvas app. So here I'm jumping to the next plugin called Automated Plugin, where I say that this is nothing but your business rule. So if you're familiar with the legacy business rule, it is what it's modernized to Automated Plugin. So here I have written a condition that if the order is blank and you got the order or the technician is assigned, then go create a task and also send an email. So I have this invoking of connector, Outlook connector that goes and sends email to the technician or to the customer. So here, if you see, I can simply use the send email Outlook expression. I don't have to have SSS or server-side sync enabled in my login today. Today, if you have to send an email, those SSS has to be enabled by your admins. So you can simply call the connector as long as it's allow listed by your admins. So this is the app where I have the details, the orders, incoming orders, the assigned orders are all 0. And I go create a new order. Okay, I'm just showing you all how it looks, the before picture looks. So I created, I clicked on suggest technician button, and it is now fetching the technician from SharePoint when I hit save. So ideally I should get Nicholas or Lydia. Okay, Nicholas is fetched And per my logic, I need to create a task. So I'd have a path statement for the task. So it's the task. And once I confirm this, and then email is generated out. So the send email, that new order was created. So you can create, you can put in your what format of the email you want inside the same local plugin logic itself, and then it composes this email for you. The second part of it is I go attach the same logic inside my Power Automate. So I have this Power Automate where I run every night. Service orders, and then I go create a bound action service orders. So here is the action name, that was action, where I go embed the suggest technician logic. And then I have this template embedded. And I can go quickly test this Power Automate. And then it goes and creates, sends an email for now. So if you see here, it has gone and created this email with the same subject and the body. So this is about how easy it is for us to go create these different plugins, flavor of plugins, instant plugin, automated plugin based on your use case, and how you can seamlessly use across the app to really create this complex integration. The third demo is focused on connectors. So I'm going to give you something fun example. So here, what I have is a Bing connector and an Outlook connector. So I'm going to use these two to calculate the distance. So I'm a technician in New York, and my job is to travel to my customer site. On top of it, I have a lot of overhead. I have to first find out if the distance is really long. If it's more than 20 miles, I'll have to create an approval to my manager to refund for my gas. I also have to send email to my customer that, hey, I'm coming, or the item is on its way, and there's a lot of overhead. And what we can do is we can simply put a local plugin and do work on behalf of the technician. So here, what I've done is on this, it's an automated plugin. I know I wanted Bing Maps and Outlook, so I go there is a plug icon on the local plugin page. So you click that and you go and author connection references. If you already have connection references, all of that will be carried over to this Dataverse accelerator. Otherwise, you will have to define that. You have to reestablish the connection reference. Once you define authorized, you can see all the supported actions. So each connection has different actions, and you can then invoke those actions into your local plugin. We want it to be, instead of typing and understanding which action is supported by which plugin, we are giving you this useful interface for you to go and explore the BOM of all connectors, and you can just copy the action and then you add it, and then you add your logic on top of it. So that way it's a semi-wizard based experience. So here I have get route, get location, get static map, which are the out-of-bound actions from Bing Maps. And with this, I have written a logic that if the distance, with the distance start and end address, and if the distance is greater than 20 miles, go create a task with the subject authorization task, travel expense authorization required. So I have this template feed it in. And then I'm also calling this Outlook connector, which Outlook 365, and saying with the contact email should be the send email should be the contact email, and the update should be the subject should be shipment update, and your shipment is on its way as one template. And and then we are also saying update the distance column in the Dataverse with the actual distance that the Bing Maps has calculated. So store it persistently. So this is what is the logic. We see it's like 5 or 6 lines of code. And then I go compose this, save this logic. plugin is saved. In automated, we can't do a pre-test like instant. We are planning how to do that. So here I'm punching in my start and destination. These are popular cities in Seattle. Now click save. And they're really far, they're 53 miles. So therefore I have an authorization task. And now I have an email sent out. Here the technician is me, myself, so it came to me. So sorry, the customer is me, so it came to me. So that's how easy it is to bring those connectors in and play around and build some really intuitive experience. The third one is generative AI, where you can use it to enrich your data. So we have introduced out-of-box 6 functions. Now this is preview coming soon. Right now, as we speak, there is a lot of RAI, responsible AI testing going on to make sure you don't. I mean, we don't want the model to act really crazy, because there's a lot of human in the loop where you can add logic that can confuse the Gen AI. So there's a lot of guardrails needs to be built. So there's a lot of testing going on, but my anticipation is around the first week of December, we should at least have a gated public preview. So this is about the 6 functions. So similar to how you saw a switch function or a extract function that you already seen in formula columns, we are introducing 6 AI functions. So in order to invoke this function, you have to type AI, and then you will see all the functions related to AI. So the first one, AI reply, will help you to compose any message. You have a customer, and you can write a logic to say, if the customer email or the customer sentiment is bad or the customer is mad, help me compose a pleasing reply to my customer, and it can give a really, really good email to you. And the second one is summarize. So you have a huge amounts of data, and your business wants to really see, I just can't make sense out of it. There's a lot of customer verbatim. Can you please summarize it? This will summarize that. Sentiment is based on your survey, unstructured data. It can quickly glance through that, and it'll tell you the customer's sentiment is hot, or they're happy or sad or whatever. Classify. You can give a bunch of data columns and say, classify this data based on age. If you give that specific, it'll tell you that, oh, it's between 60 and 70, so I'll classify as senior, and so on and so forth. Extract. This is where it can help you a lot of enrichment. You have address data, and I want to take the zip code, or I want to take the customer name from this verbatim. It can easily extract it, and it will produce it in a Dataverse column. Translate. You want to translate from any language to whatever language you want. You can write that in Translate. For this release, we are only supporting any language to English translation. In future, it will be any language. So these are the 6 out-of-box functions. The steps are very simple. You need to have any other plugin. You want a plugin to store the data. You will have to create a Dataverse column. Then you go set up the local plugin, go create an app and play. And here I'll have a quick demo of what the capabilities you can do. So in this case, in this example, I have this Contoso technician visiting the customer site, and he or she goes and enters a lot of installation data. I'm not sure if the background noise is me or it's. Okay. So here, and this is where the installation technician comes and punches in huge notes, around 3,000, 4,000 lines of multi-line of text. And I want to synthesize it. And for that, I go create an automated plugin, and I have checked update. That means every time the notes are updated, this plugin will run. And the logic here is I first go create 3 columns in Dataverse. One is AI summary, where any installation notes I have, I want it to summarize and populate in a AI summary column. That's one. The second logic is I want the Gen AI to go compose a reply to me. And so here, if for the customer feedback column, I'm asking, and if the column is blank, and if you see the logic I have mentioned here, only if it is blank. The reason is calling Gen AI is an expensive affair, right? You have to spend on tokens and EIB credits. And the advantage of using Dataverse low-code plugin is twofold. One, you can have this logic to run only when it is blank. So if your support technician A has already done this, and the support technician B comes on board, you don't have to rerun again from scratch, right? So that is one advantage where you can write such logic. The second benefit is I can stage it in a Dataverse column. I can review the generated data text before it. I don't want the bot to send an automated response without me approving it. So you can stage it, you can approve it, edit it, and then send it. So those are the key two advantages of using Dataverse and the Gen AI persisting inside the Dataverse. So my second logic here is compose a reply, and I'm also telling the Gen AI with the template that we are a solar panel company, and I'm also emphasizing, please compose a short email. I played around it. It was not really taking my instructions well. It was giving me more than 1,500 or 2,000, and sometimes if it's beyond what column size is, then your app is going to go crazy. Or you're going to see all errors when you compile. So I have truncated to 1,500 for now. So you may want to play around and come up with the sweet spot. And then the third logic is for the same customer feedback column, I want you to derive the sentiment and store that sentiment in this AI sentiment column. So I created those 3 columns. I wrote this logic, and it's like 5 or 6 lines of code. And once I compose this, I go save this plugin. I saved it, and I go to the app. So this is my service app. I have this installation notes already. So this is on update. So I'm making small update and I'm saving it. The installation notes is around 3,000 lines, and AI summary is like 5 lines. You can play around with it and give more instructions to make sure that the summary should not be more than 2 lines, and hopefully it'll give you it'll obey and it'll give you the right size. So for customer feedback, I'm typing something very upsetting feedback, and let's see how it composes a reply. And then it gives this reply to you. So as a supervisor, you can review this message, you can tweak it, make sure it does not give crazy discounts. And then it also gave you the sentiment is negative. Yep. So these are the total demos we have, but the takeaway that I want you to take from this meeting from us is you really have to write few lines of code, as I demonstrated. As long as you have the knowledge of PowerFX, or if you're a Canvas app maker and you are proficient with PowerFX libraries, then it's a breeze. You just transition and start writing server-side logic. If you're still not a Canvas app proficient, or you're not an Excel proficient person yet, don't be upset. We are also coming up with natural language capability so that you can build snippets of code, and you'd simply have to say, when the order is created, send email. And hopefully our GPT will give you, oh, it's a send email is the connector, and it'll compose an expression for you and it'll produce in front of you. So those are the innovations that you will be seeing soon. You have two types of plugins: automated plugin. If you don't want any manual way of invoking the logic, just go set it as automate. You have to make sure it's on certain data event upon order update or upon order create or whatever. You have to make sure it's a data event. Instant, where you have some person clicking a button and then you want it to invoke that logic, then it's instant. So you can determine based on your use case. You can reuse the code. Our idea here is cost savings, right? The fewer it is centralized, the more centralized it is, it's much more economical in terms of maintenance and scale. So it's reusability. Integration is seamless. You can talk to any external data. For now, we support API-based connectors and custom connectors. The tabular connectors will come soon. Finally, it's part of transactions. So plugins, Procore plugins didn't support. This is a new way where you can invoke connectors as part of your a transaction. When the order comes in, do this. When that happens, do this. So you don't have to run this or schedule this and as an automated way through Power Automate, right? And this is the advantage. You can embed it as part of your transaction, and it's a true a true capability that any Dynamics or any ERP providers would love to use this as part of their app building exercise. So these are the capabilities that Julia and I wanted to walk you through, from how you can acquire data, how you can insert intelligence in your data, how can you interact with external data in just few lines of code. So with that, thank you for all your time, and you know our contact. Please reach out to us. Please use these features and provide us your valuable feedback. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Divya. Thank you very much, Julie. And yeah, that was really good to see all of this information coming from, you know, the product managers, the people that actually are the masterminds behind that at Microsoft. And it's great to see the demos and how everything fits together and what are the different scenarios in there. And I love the fact that you guys listen to the feedback as well. So a lot of that has been shaped based on the original prototypes that was sent to private previews, and how we've sort of requested some feedback and then got it all in place. I'm very grateful that you guys are doing that on Thanksgiving. I know it's almost 1 o'clock in Seattle. You guys are probably missing out on lunch. So thank you very much for helping us and supporting us. We'll keep the feedback going. I know you guys look at the feedback. I know you guys interact with the community on LinkedIn and on all the different channels. Thank you very much. And yeah, we'll see you maybe at another conference.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.